Hello?
Girl, what page you on?
Welcome to Girl, What Page You On? I am Kayla here for the History Collins. As always, we have the marvelous Samantha here for the Spice Sharaya. And then no one, and I mean no one, matches this girl in reading speed. It's Ashley Pye. So, welcome. We are starting book 2 of the Crescent City series. And all I have to say is it did not point. Sarah J. Maas, you rule. I love all of your writing. Um, and of course, we pick up like fabulous with this. But I do feel like we need to give people something. What was it, Ash?
It's a spoiler alert. If you have not read Crescent City 1, go back and read it. Stop what you're doing right now. Stop listening. Go back and read it. And then go watch the first podcast of Crescent City. Because we are covering book 2, part 1. Part 1 ends at chapter 24, people. Besides the giant page that says part 2. But this is your spoiler alert, okay? We are going to be talking about the sweet tea, spice, drama, action, all of it. It is all fair game, and you have been warned.
Okay, before we can get into the details, let's go over what happened in Crescent City, House of Sky and Breath. So we have a prologue and then we get into part 1. In our prologue, we open to a new scene with new characters. Sophie Renast, a rebel with Orphean resistance, is in the Kavala death camp. So these are all new places. She's trying to escape with her younger brother Emil and a group of kids. She has been disguising herself and hiding in these death camps because has both human and Vanir properties. She's a human, but she made the illegal drop, which gave her a longer lifespan. Sophie has critical information that could end the war against the Asteri and is trying to reach a boat, the Bodegraven, where Agent Silverbow, a rebel contact, is waiting for her. Before escaping, she is attacked by the Hind, Lydia Servos, and a group of dread wolves. In a desperate fight, she reveals that she is a thunderbird and has the power to wield lightning. On the water, Silverbow is injured and Imperial warships surround the rebels, but Emil, who has an even stronger Thunderbird power, unleashes devastating energy, taking out the ships. Sophie is captured by the Hind while Emil escapes, and while she refuses to tell who she shared that secret intel with, she is then chained to a lead block and thrown into the water, ostensibly being drowned at sea. We then get into part 1, the chasm. We reunite with the now famous Bryce and Hunt at one of Juniper's ballet performances. Everywhere they go, people ogle them. Understandable, considering they saved the city. Real Housewives of Crescent City, am I right? To make things even worse, the star on Bryce's chest occasionally flares, drawing even more attention to her. Bryce now works in the Fae archives, while Hunt has resumed his role as second in command of the 33rd. As the city rebuilds after the demon attack, the two attempt to return to some semblance of normalcy. Naturally, this leads to a no-sex pact until winter solstice. Not exactly the move I would make after narrowly escaping death. At a party hosted by the Starborn Prince of the Valbaran Fae, we learn through conversation about new archangels in power. Ephraim, who oversees northern Pangera, and his betrothed, Celestina, who now rules over Crescent City. No one knows much about her. She seems nice, but Hunt, ever the skeptic, assumes the worst. Cormac Donnell dramatically enters the scene by appearing on Ruhn's doorstep. Turns out he's Ruhn's cousin, the son of the king of the Avalon Fae. If I'm mispronouncing that, someone will correct me later. And plot twist, he is politically betrothed to Bryce. Bryce shuts that shit down immediately, and she and Hunt return home early in the night, only to find Ethan Hallstrom bleeding out in their apartment. He was beaten by Sabine and his former pack for speaking to a reporter about helping Bryce during the city attack. Perry Ravenscroft, Amelie's younger brother and the pack's Omega, brought him to Bryce for help. Meanwhile, Tharion is searching for Sophie Renass on orders from the River Queen. In his search, he discovers that Sophie's body is missing from the shackles at the bottom of the ocean. It appears she may have escaped before drowning. Hacking into Sophie's emails, he finds messages between her and Danica referencing Dusk's Truth and Project Thur. Oh, and in a delightful bit of personal drama, we learn that Tharion is betrothed to the River Queen's daughter after a hookup they had 10 years ago. Tharion's investigation leads him to question Bryce and Hunt, which naturally leads Bryce to decide that she must find and protect Emil before someone else dangerous does. Hunt warns that getting involved would be a death sentence from the Asteri. Meanwhile, Cormac reveals that the Oracle prophesies his union with Bryce and it would bring prosperity to their people. And also that his dad is forcing this to happen. Literally, no one wants this, but it's okay. Later in the book, Cormac reveals that he's part of the rebellion and wants Ruhn, Hunt, and Bryce to help him and join him. Bryce strikes a deal with him that she can call off their engagement when she's ready and after they find Emil. They shake hands. As we learn more about Cormac, he becomes more likable. Turns out he's a leader in the rebel group Orpheon and is actively working against the Asteri. He urges the group to help him locate Emil Renass, which ultimately leads Bryce, Hunt, Ruhn, and Ethan to team up with the rebel scum. Meanwhile, Bryce learns that Danica was a bloodhound. She was able to sense bloodlines and secrets through someone's blood, making her dangerous to the Asteri. This revelation makes Bryce suspect that Danica may have been working with the rebels far longer than anyone realized. While Bryce continues digging into Danica's past, Ruhn levels up. He can now mind link with others. Using a crystal tuned to a specific frequency, he telepathically connects with a member of Orpheon known as Daybright. They exchange important messages and they flirt. They flirt a lot. Through Daybright, they learn there are cracks in the Asteri's control and possible rebel sympathizers within their ranks, potentially even Daybright herself. We will follow up on that later. Meanwhile, Tharion discovers that mer people are going missing. At first, he suspects it's connected to the Orpheon rebellion, but when he presses the River Queen about his concerns, she shuts him down, warning him to stop digging. Naturally, this makes him want to dig more, and he investigates in secret. While on the river, Ethan and Tharion discover the body of a dead Selkie female. Signs of torture suggest she was interrogated before being left to bleed out. Using his enhanced senses, is he a bloodhound? We'll answer that later. Ethan detects Emil's scent on her clothing, along with that of an unknown female. He deduces that the Selkie may have helped Emil escape to Lunathion before being captured and tortured for information, most likely tortured by Pippa. Meanwhile, Ruhn and Bryce head to the Ox training facility where Bryce is set to begin her training with Cormac. On the way, she invites Ruhn to visit her parents with her and Hunt for winter solstice, and he agrees. However, before they reach the facility, Ruhn is ambushed. A Reaper knocks him unconscious and drags him into the sewers. As Ruhn lies unconscious, he suddenly hears Daybright's voice in his mind, despite not having the crystal. She tells him that she felt something shift, allowing her to reach him telepathically. Sensing his peril, she urges him to wake up, and as he struggles to regain consciousness, he realizes that her voice and scent feel familiar. Dude, just wake up. Stop thinking about this lady. Meanwhile, Bryce pursues Ruhn in the sewers where she finds him being dragged by 2 Reapers with 3 more standing guard. 5 additional Reapers surround her, delivering a message. Apollyon, the prince of the pit of hell, the pit of hell, is ready to strike, and he wants a worthy opponent and commands her to train harder so she can face him at full power. Apollyon is also scouring the bone quarter for Emil, believing that the boy may also be a worthy adversary. Before the Reapers can attack, Cormac arrives and immediately goes on the offensive. He urges Bryce to use her light and tosses her the Star Sword. As she unsheathes the blade, it erupts with starlight. When she strikes a Reaper, the Reaper bleeds, something that they shouldn't be able to do. She then drives the sword into another, killing it outright. Stunned by this revelation, she barely has time to react before Cormac grabs her and vanishes, teleporting or winnowing then them to safety at the Ox Center. And that is how part one ends.
That 33rd debrief was so intense.
It
There's
was
so
so
much.
intense.
This is just part one. To reference, last book we broke it up into two, and we thought that was a lot. This is just part one of book two, and there's so much. And Cormac was something I did not see coming.
I don't think
Thoughts?
he's going to be coming the rest of the book either, though, Kayla.
But he,
Sorry. No, I wasn't I wasn't expecting him either. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot to like debrief that. There was so much happening. Um,
I hated
but
him when he first showed up, and I'm like, this son of a bitch, he's trying to crouch in on Hunt and Bryce's thing, and then it turns out no, he's just in love with Sophie from the very beginning, and this is his way of getting to Crescent City because technically he's not allowed to be there without a reason. So his reason is because his betrothed is there, which I have to
yeah,
say, very genius. Like I feel like he was very genius on that. Um, so
it
and I
ends up
like
working
he's
out
grown
for
on
both
me.
of them.
So he's that yeah, he grew on me like that, and I am very impressed with that. Again, Sir J. Moss. Oh, so and so who do we think Agent Daybright is?
I think that Daybright is an Asteri.
I think it's the new
I
chick.
think it's the new chick. What's her name? Sarastina.
So yeah.
Mhm, mhm,
I think
mhm,
it's
mhm,
Sarastina.
Ashley's just sitting here with a
mhm.
straw in her mouth.
Yep, whatever you say. Uh-huh.
Or
Mm-hmm.
I could also see it being Ruhn's actual betrothed,
Which
uh
he the
Queen
so this
Hypaxia.
this one definitely has a lot more spice, including Ruhn going down on a fawn. Um, and but it's weird because like he's while he's doing that, he is talking about how he can't stop thinking of his betrothed and how he feels like he's crossing a line right now. But he has every like but he's trying to like get it all out and stuff like that. But in his thoughts, he's saying that he's going to be totally committed to her, which I was like, ruined it. I was like, you're more and more like Reese every day.
I do love Ruhn. I love that little moment at the toward the end where Bryce is like, "You can come to my parents' house for winter solstice." It was really, really sweet. So I love that we're getting Ruhn. And I agree with you, Kiki. Cormac, I was like, fuck this guy. He is so pretentious. He's such a dick. But then he opens up about Sophie and he opens up about how he doesn't actually like some of his beliefs and some of his values and we ended up actually liking him. I think he's still pretty pompous, but that's okay.
Yes. But it's a good way.
I like the fact that he gives Ruhn a run for his money a little bit.
Yes.
But like, I mean, yeah, when I read Bryce inviting Ruhn to go see Ember, it's just like and him being like, yeah, I would, yeah, because he actually really, I think, views Ember very differently than normal people would look at like a stepmother or, anything like that. Even though her mom and their dad aren't together or anything, he still had, affection towards her, not
Well,
animosity or anything.
it's funny because Rune's got like 20 years on
Yeah.
Ember too. But I just love that was really sweet. And that was like kind of a nice way to end the book or like end this section of the book, other than the Reapers and stuff. But yeah, and it's Farian, of course, with the Colin Bryce legs and I keep wanting to say Connor, but it's Ethan just being like, "What's your deal?" Like, and I almost think that Ethan may have a little bit of a crush on Bryce. Anybody feel like that?
I do. I think it's like when your older brother has a girlfriend, right? It's like, oh, I love them, like you just want to follow them around. I think it's that kind of really cute little crush. Um, Ethan, I'm so happy that Ethan and Bryce reconnected. Speaking of, so when he's literally kicked out of his pack, he like comes and finds it's like your found family, right? Like you have your relatives, and we're lucky because we're close with our relatives, but you have that found family, and Ethan makes it back to Bryce, and it's really, really lovely that they have those connections. And then randomly, like Ruhn later in this first part, Ruhn's like, just come live with me, dude. Like, you don't want to be the third wheel to Bryce and Hunt for the rest of your life. Like, come hang out with me, kid. Um, which is really cool to see as well.
I feel like after the one scene with Bryson Hunt, we don't get a full thing, folks. Um, but Australian kisses is what is what we can reference it, I guess, as. Um, and he's like, I can hear you. I feel like that was probably a breaking point for Ethan. He's like, I gotta get out of here. Um,
Imagine you like have like he's a wolf. Like he has crazy hearing and a
and
crazy sense of smell.
smell. Like I can't imagine. Like this poor guy.
So funny. Speaking of sense of smell, I want to talk about Danica's bloodhound abilities that we've just found out about. So, like, correct me if I'm wrong. It was my understanding that because she had this ability, so like we find out that Danica finds out about Bryce's Starborn gift. So then Danica offers up some information to Bryce so that they both have a piece of information on each other, which is like kind of weird because if you're friends, like I found that really odd. I don't know if you all did, like, because if you're friends, it's like, cool, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to tell anyone. But then Bryce found this out about Danica. I don't know.
But
Did you find that odd?
she didn't know it about Danica, I thought. I thought that it was that
It was
she
Fury.
yeah, Fury knew.
Gotcha.
And it's again going back to the whole I had this issue with the last book that like Fury is just she knows all this stuff about Bryce and it's like her and Bryce just like were insies on some crazy shit. But and again keeping Bryce out, like if Danica and Bryce were such good friends, like Bryce gave it all to Danica and I always felt like Danica just kind of like, yeah, we're friends. But I'm gonna be closer with Fury because Fury and I are gonna share our
Well,
secret.
well, I'll point out Fury deals with secrets, and that's what she, barters in, I guess, is how I would phrase it.
She's
Nothing gets
Finnick
by
from the
her.
Hunger Games.
She, like, literally nothing gets by her. So that's why I'm like she reminds me of Amryn from ACOTAR in the sense of like
Yeah.
looks, act, all of it, scream. I'm like, oh, we know Amryn came from someplace. Maybe Fury and her are related somehow. That's how I felt when I was reading it. And like, Fury just, I feel like there's so much we don't know about her that it really kind of, never fully invested in trusting Fury personally. Just
Yeah,
I'm with
like,
you.
yeah,
I'm with you on that. I feel like Fury I think like the same thing with like Fury and Amber, like you said, like they don't want to get necessarily close to people because of the secrets they have. So it's not necessarily like I don't think Fury's like a bad person. I think it's just like the nature of what she deals in. And just when you know that much information about powerful people, the people around you can then be used as pawns. So shit.
yeah.
Oh no, I hope Juniper's okay because they're dating.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's
So
like she literally manipulates people with their darkest and deepest secrets and fears and stuff, which means that she holds on to those deeper for herself and I think even for her friends. Um, but yeah, like, oh, you guys don't like Danica now, or you're weaning on Danica feelings
oh, I was meaning on
continually.
Danica feelings last time because friends don't treat friends like she treated Bryce. And like, yeah, she's like, yeah, I'll put I'll have them tattoo the horn in my
I'll
supposed
get my
best friend
best
because
friend so
she's
drunk.
yeah, she's gullible. Like that, like who does that?
There's more
Again,
Danica secrets to come.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm not a
I know. We
Danica
talked about
fan.
like Danica using Bryce as a pawn, and it's definitely becoming more and more and more and more true. Which is
Can
just crazy.
I want to go back to Connor because you know I'm a sucker for Connor. Um, and Ethan and like, was he talking to Hunt about like the mating bonds and stuff like that and how like Bryce was like, I definitely agree with this. Bryce was probably his mate,
But
right?
they also have different concepts of mates
Yeah.
in the world. So we have it written down here. Shifters believe so like shifters would be like the wolf shifters, the what are there's snake shifters, there's all types of different like you went from human into a beast form, I guess. Believe it's predestined by who is the god, right? So they think it's a predestined thing. So when you say like it's like meant to be, right? True love, like that's kind of what I think of. So it's like there's only one person
True
for you.
love.
True love. The Fae see it just as a really strong bond, like
But
a
see,
stronger than marriage bond. Like, but it's
yeah.
not predestined necessarily. It's just like I feel like it's like a chemical thing.
I feel like this is where knowing the Court of Thorns and Roses series, it makes it easier to understand the Fae bond
Yeah.
because it's stronger than a marriage and it's like a deep connection. Like you just like are with that person, but at the same time you can be like mated to somebody you absolutely hate. That's something that we learned from that. So I
Really?
felt like it was, yeah. Remember,
Oh, yeah.
like their bonds are like the mating bond is strong, like stronger than a marriage, but it doesn't also guarantee you it's more of
It's not
a
happily
deep,
ever after. It's just
yeah,
chemically
it's a
it's a
chemical draw.
chemical
It's like
evolution, I guess. But
yeah, it's like a feral
Yeah.
thing. It is
Like
like how
me and
I
Carrot
feel like
Cake.
it is. Like I need, yes, like
yeah.
I need to protect you. Like I need you.
I kind of
Um,
I kind of feel like Hypaxia, which is that's who we were thinking, Ruhn's fiance. And Ruhn have I bet you they have a mating bond because he's naturally pulled toward her. Even before he knew who she was, they had this thing. So I kind of hope that that's true.
and I hope that's who
As
Daybright is.
I kind of I it's either her or the newest Stary girl, and I have a feeling it's the newest Stary girl, but I want it to be Hypaxia because it just adds more to her awesome kick-ass power. Plus, we need to talk about like so the Hind is her sister, well, half sister. Um, and then so Hypaxia herself, though, is the cross between the old witch queen and a necromancer, which did not see that coming. So she's got like double gifts, which is why she became the queen instead of the hind. Which the hind's real name is Lydia. And we also find out that Lydia's lover was one of the angels,
Oh
isn't he?
yeah.
Isn't that like which I was like, oh, I was like draw which I think Hunt says this, like draws to like because the one that she's like hooked up with and like they have a thing, he's a bad dude. He's a dick. Hunt hates him to his rotten like the absolute core. So
Yeah, he's like
Are you guys
really
talking about Hellhound?
is it
no.
no
No, it's the other guy because we kind of like how the guy who's
back
Hellhound.
no Baxian. No, Pollux.
Pollock? It's
We
got to
like it's
No, we
not
don't like
Pollux.
Pollux. We don't like Pollux.
Wait,
It's
so
the other one.
who is
Her
the
so
hind with?
the Hind is with the Hellhound.
So Baxian. That's who. Yes,
Yes.
the Hellhound, Baxian.
Artemis. Yes.
There's another
Like
one
you
that
guys are gonna
came.
have so like part two and three is just so much. Part two for sure is a lot of info dropping. and connecting dots. And then 3 is like you get into full conspiracy mode.
But either way, the Hellhound Baxian, and
Yeah.
so he can shift into a Hellhound is who what he can do. So he's like, right. He is in the 33rd. So that's how this is
Yeah.
all like connected. And that's why Kayla was like, she's dating the Hellhound. Like, what is happening here? Or was, or had a
Yeah.
love interest.
Well, it kind of gets implied that when the hind comes, because she is coming, that Baxi is gonna pick up his romance. But everybody's coming for um
If you say coming
Faustina.
one more time, I am going to
COME.
lose.
COME, people.
I'm going to lose my
God,
mind.
I hope your girls do not watch this, please, God.
No,
But
but everyone is coming for
the
with
mating ritual.
Celestina, right?
Yeah.
They're coming. They're bringing these people on into the government of Crescent City, but it also seems like all these different groups have an interest. There's like so much happening in this book, right? There's new politicians, there's new government, and then there's also like a new threat or like developments on the human front who are trying to fight the Asteri.
Mhm.
And the rebellion group is all looking for Sophie Renast and Emile Renast. So I'm just like I know it all ties together and I know we're getting all these like because at this point we're just getting like this is a story, this is a story, and we're starting to see like how it could connect, but we're not quite getting the full on connections. Um, but do you all think that Sophie Reness is alive?
Ooh.
No comment.
I
Yeah,
think yes.
I
I
think she's
think
alive.
yes.
I
I
don't think
think
they
she
would
made
make
the
a big
drop.
deal. Yeah.
I think what ended up happening is that somebody on the Heinz ship, like they dropped her, but I feel like there was somebody in that may have jumped ship and then dove down and saved her. I think she's alive. I think like there's to me, and I think she I don't know if she's hiding in the bone quarter. I don't think her brother's hiding in the bone quarter. I think that there's somewhere else. Um, but again, there's so many little parts, like little mysteries that we have with this. And it's like watching a soap opera go down. It's like our own personal fangs and bangs, going back to La Habra here. But there's so many different little things. And again, going back to Sarah J. Maas being such an amazing highly literative writer because she's able to give us all of this within so
The
many
first 100
chapters.
pages.
Just like within the first 10 chapters, even we had a whole plot line with like 7 different branches of going on at the same time, which we know is going to come back down to one at the end of the book because that's how she writes, and I love it. Chef's kiss.
It is really nice how she does the like gives you the information too, because it's always through like a conversation or like something they read or it's the person's thoughts. So it's not just like a now I have to go back and explain this thing to you, which is I think why we were saying we struggled with when the moon hatched. Um, but I think you're like Sarah J. Moss does nice world building. So so you bring up a good point, and I want to go back to it about the bone quarter. So they're all thinking at this point that Emile Renast, who is a Thunderbird, who apparently has like crazy, crazy powers because we have Hell searching for him, and because he wants to have like this big showdown. Like this is so random. Like when they started talking about the demons coming back to like talk with her because like there's the what was the Adian that she spoke with in the last book, the cat.
Avalon? Avalon? I think it might have
uh,
been Avalon.
um and he's like on her side but like cueing her in to some of this, and now like there's definitely I think we're going to get that connection between Bryce and the underworld in this. Gosh, I hope it's this book. And if we don't, then we'll probably get it in the third book. I don't know. It's gonna be hard because it's like we have so much book left, but I also know that there's so much more building left. So we could either have like I think we're either gonna get Hell or the Human Rebellion in this one, and then in the third book we're gonna get the other of the two because it's just hard to see. Because like in the first one we got those demons coming in at the end of book one, and it set the tone for all these other things. So I don't think we're gonna get both in this book. But do you guys think that we're gonna go to the Bone Quarter? Like where do we see this going?
I think we are. I think there's some we're going to. Also, I liked how the one Hell's Prince, who obviously loves Bryce like his own, he straight says he was like, "Oh, we were about to step in, but we didn't need to because you all did." And then he also says he's like, "You all opened the gates to a cage." Like kind of like saying that's like real hell doesn't care. Like real hell, like we could come back and forth what like however we want. But the other like and it also seems like the seven princes of hell kind of like are all they all are kind of doing their own thing, but everybody knows what they're do each other are doing. That's kind of got what I felt
And none
like.
of them are informing anyone else.
Yeah, it's just like, well, it's like sitting at a coffee table and then looking out the window at a coffee shop. And it's just like, we all know what we're doing here and we're watching out there. And we'll be like, do we intervene? I'm gonna get a cappuccino. Do you want a latte? Like, I kind of feel like they're just sitting there doing their own thing, thinking about like how they want to go back and forth. I don't know why. Like, these are the stupid things that I come up with on these characters. Um, but there's so many little things. I am hoping for, I'm not going to lie, that like I want Bryce and Hunt to just sleep with each other to be this way, his sense on her, because that's come up about how like literally the Autumn King, which is disgusting, says his sense not on her. They haven't been together. Like they're in reference to like their relationship and the courting that's supposed to be going on with Cormac. Like obviously, and like I feel like that's probably another thing with the Autumn King is that because he knows that Hunt and Bryce haven't slept together, that there's no claiming or like there's no like because no one's gonna come after the Amor Mortis after like there no one's gonna come for his girl, but people are saying, oh well, they hurt his sense not on her, so guess they're not a thing, right? I'm
Yeah.
probably weird. I'm
I
just
think at the
thinking
end of
too
the
much.
day, like, I think that, like, I think Bryce and Hunt are gonna end up together. But and I agree, no one's coming after the Umbra Mortis. No one's got. Oh, he's also referenced again, sorry, ADHD as Orion the Hunter,
Yes.
Yes, and
right?
I've been
He's
holding on to that, like trying to remember where it was. But yeah, his name is Orion Hunter Hunt.
yes, it's brought up at the end or middle end of the first book, and then it's brought up again in this first section.
Mhm.
Because Adion does like see them in this first. Am I crazy? We can
No,
cut this
he
out if you need
calls him
to.
that
He
when they
calls
walk through
him
the
that.
door and goes white and then they see the cat.
No,
Like
she
he
walks in the door.
See
Yes, yes,
Ian
yes.
sitting there petting the cat and
Ethan's
is
like
like,
just
"Hey,
petting,
when'd you get a cat?"
like, I like your cat. And she's like, I don't
that's
have a
not a
I
cat.
cat.
don't have a cat.
That's not a
And
cat.
then he's like, "Well, since you won't quit, like that's just rude."
And then Ethan's just like, what the fuck?
And
And he's like, "I was just petting a prince of hell."
but
Oh my God.
he calls Hunt Orion, which I think it's
Yes.
Orion Hunter.
All right. Yeah, because he's the hunter.
Yes.
So a little nod to like Snow White. Oh, Orion's the hunter, right? Who does he like?
Guys, you guys are forgetting something.
Orion is a constellation from
He's a
Orion is a
mythology.
star.
constellation, and these doors that opened up in the last book lead somewhere.
And
Oh.
the
Aliens. So
and
I
well,
had to, I was like, wait, if we're gonna go conspiracy craziness, aliens.
wait, there's also reference about how the um crap, I just lost their name. The Atari or the
Asteri.
thank you. I knew it. It was gone. How the Asteri are fallen angels, but they also can be fallen stars. Either way, they're fallen something, and how their story only started when they showed up. Like they told their own story. Like there's nothing
They left
before
it
it.
out.
So
And they keep
obviously,
referring to this as Midgard too,
yeah,
And
which is
that's where,
Norse mythology.
yeah. There's
but
so many.
Midgard, like think of Marvel movies too. Where's Midgard? Like
It's
Midgard is
The
Earth.
Earth,
stars.
but like everything is star. So when heard Orion, I thought of the constellation first. But at the same time, we were having like the eclipses and all that stuff when I was reading it. So my brain automatically went to that kind of stuff.
Well, I think it's also pretty
Um,
fitting that his name is Orion and he's with a star born.
See, and that was it too. It was
Oh,
connecting
God
stars that
damn
way.
it.
There's so many full circle moments.
So
It's so
full
good.
disclosure, Kayla and I truly did stop at the first section of this book. I read into, I think I'm on chapter like 26, but there's nothing that really happens in those next two, but we're truly at the beginning. So all of this is truly theory, okay? I just want everyone to know we didn't read ahead. This is not spoilers.
Yeah. We're doing, as I shake myself, we're doing the real slow burn, and it is like infuriating because we want to make sure that we're reading everything, like looking into everything. Like
Like
it's,
a true book club.
yeah.
But yeah, oh man. And this is the fun thing too, is like these theories often just happen as we're talking about them.
They do.
And Ashley is just like little puppeteer over there, like,
That's
I'm
why
just gonna say
Ashley is the
this
But
and that.
secretary.
I did. I mean, I read these books and like rereading them and like
Yeah.
reading Sam's notes, and I'm like, actually, my theory was this way. So like when I read that, but again, like you let things that are around you dictate how you're perceiving things, right?
Mhm.
So like I said, so I went to stars when I was reading it. So
Mhm.
I was just like assuming, oh, star, like he was like, he's a fallen angel, so he came from the stars. That's why they named him Orion, kind of thought. But we really
Right.
don't get full detail. But whew,
Yeah, but I feel like his name is more about like what he does,
yeah,
right? Orion the Hunter, like,
Yeah.
and what he does or what he did do for Micah, right, was hunt down and kill, right? So I think his name isn't just like, oh, just because you felt this. I think you're right that it's more than that. It's like what he actually does.
Yeah, it's his destiny. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
It's interesting. It's kind of cool. So I really I like Norse mythology a lot and Greek mythology, Roman, right, whatever. But it's really cool that Sarah is like pulling in all these different mythologies or like nods to. Maybe it won't be end up being, maybe we're reading too much into it, but like little nods to this and that is really fun for me.
I love it too. Like, you know me. I'm here for the history, baby. And it is so good. Like, and I feel like there's a reference in the other book about Boudica or something like that, which that is an ancient Britannian warrior who like is freaking awesome. But I feel like she was referenced in that too, or like somebody was named like a warrior. But I love that she does that. I love that she pushes it through. So, and I'm so glad that we're doing this recording so I can freaking start reading the rest because I'm ready. I'm so ready.
So what do you think is gonna happen? Like why we're getting some of this like information about the underworld or hell. That they spell Hel, which I just realized is kind of fun.
It's how.
Um,
Well, that's how hell is spelled in Norse mythology is Hel, hell.
hell. Yeah. Um, yeah. So what do you think their whole thing is? Like, I think that the demons originally occupied Midgard, right? And we also know that the demons are like fallen angels in a sense as well, right? And thinking about like pulling from Catholicism and Christianity, like we know, right? Like demons or hell is like a fallen angel thing, but that's like in a bunch of mythologies as well. All these gods, the god of the underworld is usually a brother or sibling of someone. So um I think that in this book, Hell wants to reoccupy Midgard and is like, y'all get the hell out of our hometown. Um, but I don't know why. Maybe they just
I
want their
kind
space back, or like that's like kind of the only working theory that I have is they want this space back.
I kind of wonder if it's see, like I feel I don't get that vibe, but I do like I can go either way. I feel like it's more that the princes of hell want some breathing room. Like they want some traction in another world. Like everybody fears them already, but they can walk back and forth. Like we see it happening. But I feel like they're not supposed to be in Midgard. So they're like the only way that they can be there is if they decide to put a war out. Um and then
Or
if
they can be
human
there,
one,
but they have to like be there as a cat.
yeah. Um or they come in a salt pile. So
That's true.
but I feel I kind of I don't know. It's hard to because I feel like if they wanted to just take over, they would. But then like what the Reapers said, also is the Bone Quarter going to be hell? Like that whole thing gives me Greek mythology with like you have to pay the ferryman to get you across the river and stuff. That's kind of what I feel like the Reapers are like the ferrymen almost. I don't know why I get that vibe,
But like,
but I think it's
why do the Reapers have like full abilities to just like take people?
what if the Reapers are like the cereal?
Like what?
Like
This
from the Court of Thorns and Roses.
Surrey.
Cereal, sorry. I'm
Oh.
I've
she
got so
said
excited.
cereal. I'm
I just
like,
got so
okay,
excited. I'm
someone's
sorry. I
hungry.
can't speak. I can't speak. What it because ah maybe like
You think she's
again,
a Reaper? Is she
maybe.
a Reaper?
She get they the way that they talk about her and her features and stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do a reread. Maybe that's what
Um,
I'll do in between because we're not getting through this fast enough. So I need something. I don't know, but
um, but it's just interesting that the Reapers come from the Bone Quarter, but they're also a product of hell. So they're like kind of this like they're like what can walk on Midgard.
mhm.
Um, but it is cool now that we know Bryce. So nothing can kill a Reaper because it's already dead, except apparently Bryce wielding the Star Sword. So we get Bryce actually killing a Reaper, which is a little piece of information, and it's obviously she's going to be our heroine here. Um it'll be interesting to see like when they do, and or if that applies to like can she also kill a god of hell or a prince of hell,
Well,
right?
she killed an archangel, so I
And
feel
she
like
killed an
she's got
archangel.
it.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I
yeah, I
agree.
think I almost wonder because Ruhn keeps telling her, like, it's okay for you to want the sword. Like, I will give you the sword. Like, anytime you want to borrow it, you want it, you can have it. Like, I think Ruhn's pretty amazing with that. And again, going to him and Bryce's relationship, like, it is so amazing. Like, I just love their relationship and how much Ruhn leans into her star power. Like, you got this. Like use it. Like it's okay. Like, and I think even Cormac does it some. Um, as much as we hate Cormac, I think Cormac is also the supporting cousin um thing, and like knowing that he's in love with Sophie, it makes it like everything so much easier. Um, but
I
I
feel
do
like Ruhn has like stepped into major Big Brother mode for everybody, including Ethan, of like,
Mhm.
kid, you're moving into our house.
yeah.
Like, there's no reason for you to be stuck at Bryce's.
I also
And I have
think
jobs for you.
I also think that the prophecy stuff is like people spewing shit out their ass. I feel like it's just a bunch of crap. Because they predicted that Cormac and Bryce will get married. They predicted
No.
that. Oh,
Yes and no. Sorry, I just got really excited because
okay, tell us, tell us.
I like listening to or like reading the actual terminology because we know this goddamn oracle. They were like, she went blind and went crazy after meeting with Bryce. Like, yeah, because she looked into Bryce and saw fucking light. She got literally blinded. So what the oracle says is the union. It doesn't say the marriage. It just says if you when you find the the fae with the star on their chest, then your people will be at peace. Like that's the path. So it doesn't, I don't think it has to be a romantic marriage, right? I think it just is like they're together, like them being together is going to like
I didn't even
unite
catch that.
their
That's
people.
I thought it said the marriage, not the union. So that's a
Mhm.
good point.
Or like
Um,
unity or like something like that, but I don't think it's like necessarily romantic marriage. Yeah.
and then so with Rune's prophecy, his says something like you'll be the end of the line
Yeah.
or something like that. So
He'll
Yo,
be the
what
Ruhn
if
end of
is
his,
not
what if
making
he'll
it
be
out
Rune
of
the
this
end of
thing.
his father's line.
But what if Ruhn, what if it's that Ruhn just steps away and he does not become following the Autumn King? Like he doesn't essentially become the next Autumn King. What if it's that, not that he doesn't reproduce or like he doesn't even Ashley's smiling away, so we gotta be on the same track.
I think that that's nice, but I don't think Ruhn's making it out of this fucking series alive.
Oh,
I'm
don't
not, I'm specifically, by the way, for our listeners, I'm not looking at Ashley's screen specifically right now because I don't want to know. But I just think because of that, because it's saying he's the last of the line, I'm like, Ruhn, baby, you're not surviving. Or, or maybe he just steps away and maybe he steps away and lets Bryce step in. And if Ruhn does survive and have kids with Hypaxia or Daybright or whoever he's, ends up with, that it just won't pass on his line, his lineage, or he'll only have girls. I don't know.
The Sistina, um, Ruhn hasn't met her yet, right? But he no, he wait, Ruhn hasn't met her yet. So it,
No, he met, is it Celestina where they're talking and he's like, oh, I like she came to my father's court years ago? Because remember, okay, so
I didn't think he met her.
maybe he didn't. Maybe he
Because if he
didn't.
didn't meet her, but yet he knows her voice, then it's gotta be Hypaxia, right? I may have to look this up. I forgot. Because I feel like he
You guys
said that he
just,
saw
we
her
need
from a
to,
distance.
you guys need to just stop spinning wheels and go and read the next part.
Yeah,
For the love
All
of
right.
God,
All
for
right.
for
sure.
me.
For sure. We'll get our answers.
All
We'll
right.
get our
That'll
answers.
be
So
it.
we don't know who Daybright is, but we think it's Celestina or Hypaxia. And yeah, I think that's our biggest like that's the one I'm most confident in. So we'll see what comes of that. I think we're gonna get some bone quarter stuff in the next. What are you hopeful for? What are you all hopeful happens in the second part of this book?
That you
That
guys finish it quickly.
that Hunt and Bryce finally get together And I do think we're going to go to the Bone Quarter. I do think we're going to go, especially with the Reapers and knowing that the sword can kill a Reaper. I think we're going in. I think we're paying that toll.
I think we're paying the toll, and I think that because she calls Jessica and is like, "Hey, got any death coins lying around?" And Jessica's all like, "Maybe." I think we're
Why?
going in. I think because we know, right? We know
Yeah.
where to find all that. And remember, Bryce in the first book dealt her life for Danica's. So we're going. We're going in. I'm excited about it.
All right. Well, until next time, I'm gonna be, like I said, we're gonna be speed reading this through because I may have to double my reading speed on my audiobook, which is not good when it's graphic because you want to enjoy it. But I'm so excited. Like again, it was really hard to stop, but I did it. So, well,
Well, until next time.
Yep.
This has been the 33rd case file closing.
We'll see y'all next time for part 2 of book 2. Case file out was so funny.